up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day. Back from the break. Remember, you all can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports podcast by going to Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Also, don't forget that you can go online. You can go to the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_sports for the live links and show topics and Twitter prior to every single show. Don't forget, you can also comment, like, and share it in the KBR Sports podcast in order to give your thoughts and opinions on any KBR Sports show topic that may be getting discussed, and so that your comments will get read live during the show. And so that you can also show your support for the KBR Sports podcast, because you know it's always greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. So let's jump into this next
topic.
topic.
Hold on. Before we do that.
Oh yeah. Go
I want
ahead.
to correct some things. Mm-hmm. The owner is the GM. Also, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Marvin Lewis, been a coach for 15 years at the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to guess his playoff record.
0-0. He's at 15 years.
Yeah.
0-9. 0-10.
You are giving way too much credit. He's 0-7.
0-7.
0-7.
Dang. Dang it. Damn.
I'm surprised you're 0 right though. I genuinely thought you'd give him at least 1 or 2.
Nope, I knew it. I knew you didn't win one. He hasn't won one playoff game. I knew that much. Okay, so going into this next topic. So Nigel, when have you ever had the ordeal of trying to manage a lot of young, youthful people?
No, I can technically say I have not.
So, what? Well, that's something that you do not have in common with the Lakers front office and Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, and Luke Walton, because right now it seems like there's a lot of trouble in paradise in Lakerland. Because
is it paradise if you're at the bottom of the NBA standings?
What for them where they were at the time, it was paradise, but now it seems like
right.
So now with this way things have downward spiraled, the Lakers have lost 8 of their last 9 games, and
last in the Western Conference.
They're 1.5 games to be in last in the Western Conference.
No, they're last.
They fallen last now.
They're dead last.
Oh, okay. So that means the standings got updated from last night then.
Hold on, let me double check them. I'm pretty sure they're last.
Okay.
I looked at it earlier.
Okay, well they're at pretty much the bottom of the barrel of the Western Conference. Yeah. They're out of the playoffs where they projected themselves being prior to the season.
LeVar said playoffs.
LeVar, Larry Nance Jr. at the start of December.
They are dead last.
They're dead last. Okay, so the Lakers are dead last right now in the playoffs. But Larry Nance Jr., one of the shining young players for the Lakers that showed a lot of potential in terms of being a great role player in the league, said at the beginning of December, hey, I feel like this team can make it to the playoffs. And him and Kyle Kuzma both felt like that this team was good enough to make it to the playoffs. But now they've hit that downward spiral where they haven't been able to really build any kind of continuity and be able to get themselves up to the point where they can get themselves a playoff berth. Yeah. So now they held a team meeting to pretty much air out all their grievances. Yeah. In which a lot of people said, Kyle Kuzma specifically was quoted as saying that it was a heart-to-heart sort of situation. Luke Walton was quoted saying that he wanted to get everything out of the air because he didn't want there to be a lot of tension, and he canceled that Thursday's practice in order for them to be able to air out their grievances because he felt like people weren't giving their all, their effort. Like the Lakers' defense has slipped from being one of the top, being top 10 in defensive efficiency, is now slipped from that point because people are giving a lot less effort in terms of how hard they're willing to play, making defensive rotations. So Nigel, what do you think of how the Lakers are handling their young guns? Do you think that they're mishandling their players, or do you think that they're going in the right direction?
In terms of acquiring young talent, they're doing a great job there. Problem is, when you have rumors and you don't address those rumors, like the rumor that they're gonna like Julius Randle and Jordan. The thought process is Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson will not be on this team next year because they're going to get LeBron and
Paul George,
whoever, DeMarcus Cousins, whoever the Lakers are, because they're just the Lakers. They're going to give every big free agent. So when you keep hearing that, and team's not denying, team hasn't come out and said, Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson are our guys or anything like that. I mean, it's tough. I mean, to play through that constantly every single night, that's tough to play through when it's always in the back of your mind.
And it's one of those things that sucks because the rumors, there's validation behind
the
rumors.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason why they can't come out and say, that's not true.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things that it's tough for them to always fall back, for them to really fall back on and be like, okay, so we know this is preposterous. You know what I mean? Like, it's a preposterous rumor. It's not going to happen, sort of thing. Like, if you told somebody that the Cavaliers are going to trade, even though they can't. If the Cavaliers are going to trade LeBron James, you'd be dumb to do so. But it's like, it's such a preposterous rumor, nobody's going to believe it. But in this instance, you kind of see that they're handling themselves in a way that it could be true, because a lot of what is coming out of Los Angeles is that they're kind of feeling as though that the young players, the rotations that they're running are sort of in a manner that they have certain players that they're playing favorites pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have players that they see as their foreseeable future, like maybe a guy like Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, those kind of guys. They see them as their future, so they're giving them a lot of playing time. But other guys that are more developed, maybe at this point in time in their careers, feel as though they're not getting the playing time, even though they're the better players. Like Julius Randle has not started one game this season.
Julius Randle is down to 22 minutes a game.
Yes, he's down to 22 minutes a game, and I think there's some language in his contract that if he were to start 9 starts, if he were to have 9 starts in his career or in this season, according to Bobby Marks of ESPN, his qualifying offer as a restricted free agent would jump from $4.3 million to $5.6 million if he got 9 starts this season. So pretty much he hasn't started any games this season, and he's come off the bench. He's playing impressively off the bench, but the problem is you can make the case that he's better than some of the starters in the starting lineup right now, mainly Larry Nance Jr. or so.
Definitely deserves more time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's like I mean I don't know how they. And the thing is, what makes it even worse though, kind of, is that if they don't get any of these big time talents,
yeah,
they don't have a pick next year.
They don't.
Completely gone. They have no chance of. Like, I think unless it falls out of the top 5, I think. And then I think it goes to someone else anyway. I don't think it comes back to the Lakers.
I think if it falls out of the top 5 or top 10, it goes to either the Celtics or it goes to the
Magic.
It
goes to the Celtics.
Yeah.
It goes to the Celtics. If it goes 2 through 5, it goes to the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I mean, it's damaging the relationship between the players right now. But at the end of the day, I mean, they have their bird rights if they really.
You do that at birth. You just don't want that kind of, because young players, they're gonna be like, it builds tension. Especially, it's not like these guys are veterans.
No, these are their first team.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, these people, they want to feel, they want to feel wanted.
Yeah.
And, it's not just you're just here until LeBron gets here kind of thing.
Exactly.
And I mean, there's no guarantee that they're gonna pull
LeBron James.
No, there's absolutely no guarantee, and there's no guarantee they're gonna pull Paul George. I mean, there's a likely chance they pull Paul George, but there's no guarantee they pull Paul George.
No, but even at this point, it's becoming murky whether they can get Paul George.
I mean,
you haven't really improved. Your team hasn't shown improvements, and since Lonzo has sat, you've just been losing. So your team hasn't really improved in any way that would make a guy like Paul George be like, oh, I can be added to that team. We're going to win. If Paul George can be added to the Thunder with Carmelo Anthony and Russell Westbrook, and they just started winning automatically, now they've improved a lot since earlier in the season. But if it wasn't a situation with that team that he couldn't add himself to the team and they became a undeniable threat to win the title, then how would you think that adding yourself to a young Lakers team that's having issues with chemistry would make you a viable contender in the Western Conference? Right. So even in that instance, Houston looks like a more eligible destination for a Paul George or
if they somehow find a way to fit Paul George in their roster. Go ahead, you got the juice, man.
Man. Hey,
you got it.
They're all about the numbers.
They are. I mean, what's the name still has their first round pick as well. The Celtics, the Cavs still have their Brooklyn first round pick too. Just sitting there.
It's not looking as good as it was.
I mean, they're still not in the playoffs.
They're not in the playoffs, but in terms of
it's still a top 10 pick. This year's draft is loaded. They're legitimately 6. They say the top 6 in this draft is stacked.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we're assuming guys like a Trae Young, Marvin Bagley, and those kind of guys are coming out, then yeah, it would be a stacked draft. But I don't know if.
It wasn't even including Trae Young.
You weren't including Trae Young?
No.
Do you think Trae Young would come out?
I mean,
for those of you who don't know, the
up and coming
star at Oklahoma, who's been likened to Steph Curry. So his game is very similar to Steph Curry in terms of how he just rises up and pulls from anywhere, and his playmaking ability is just off the charts. So
I think let me look up Friday. Speak out my butt. The 6 I was talking about, it was DeAndre. I'm not gonna say his last name right. Ayton, Marvin Bagley, Luka Doncic, Michael Porter, Mohamed Bamba, and Colin Sexton. Mm-hmm. Were the 6 that are like these guys can be franchise players.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Nets are, I'm gonna say, still the bottom 3 in the East. I'm speaking on my butt here, but I'm pretty confident. So that pick is still attractive. I think.
You think it's still attractive? So you're talking about in terms
bottom four of these. They're tied with They're literally tied with 4 other teams.
So you're talking in the realm of trading for Paul George.
Yeah, I still think the option is available. I think it's less available now because he's not actually not playing bad. But these like him and Westbrook work on the Thunder. There was one piece that doesn't kind of fit.
It's Carmelo.
I mean, I'm not trying to put names to it, but you know, one piece that doesn't really kind of fit.
Yeah, it's Carmelo.
Andre Roberson, but it's like him too. But Carmelo, come on, lesser scale. Andre Roberson,
Carmelo's taking a step back. So
yeah, so that's why I'm like Andre Roberson. That's spacing though.
Andre Roberson kills any team he goes to. Offensively, he kills them
until he can start hitting threes. But
which he won't.
He won't. But he just kills the spacing on that team. If those two continue to work like that, I'm not 100% shocked if they keep him and they re-sign him because he's not playing. Again, he's not playing bad.
He's not.
But if they're because right now they have a winning record, but if they're just still around the 500 mark, I do still think they look at options.
I think from a stand, I don't think Paul George will commit to any. He's not going to commit to anything.
That's why I think the Thunder will look at options if they're still around 500.
But I just don't know, and that's one of the things that if the Lakers elect to trade trade for Paul George, you have affordable contracts, which that makes things more kind of tension.
They don't have a pick, though. That's the problem.
They don't have a pick, but a contract with Jordan Clarkson's and Julius Randle's, where you get those talent. You've seen those guys, and you see how young they are. They're very talented players.
They are.
Jordan Clarkson spaces the court. Julius Randle can run the break. He can play in the post. He gives you a lot. He gives you a lot of dimensions that you don't currently have on your team.
Julius Randle is a good player. I actually like Julius Randle. I didn't like when he came out, but I like him now. But him and Jordan Clarkson, there's not enough for me to trade Paul George.
For nothing.
No,
it was enough for the first Pacers.
You have to, yeah. That worked out for them. Don't get me wrong, that worked out for them. That was still not a good trade. At the time, it was not a good trade. Unless you see Julius Randle taking that step that Victor Oladipo has taken, which I don't think most people do. And I think Jordan Clarkson is what he is at this point. He's a 6-man scorer, which is fine. He's good at what he does. But I just don't think that's enough to be like, you know what, we'll trade Paul George for that. Because you have to pay them. You have to pay Julius, and Julius is going to command a hefty price tag. And it's just like, do you think his skills translate to what you have to pay him?
I don't know. I mean, he's a
on a team. Let's not forget that Westbrook's not getting any younger.
He's not getting any younger,
and it's not. And Julius is not near his prime.
I mean, that makes. I mean,
Russell needs that second guy. If they had
that second guy,
if they had that second guy that was in his prime with Russell Westbrook, I would be more for that trade.
But what if you just lose the guy that you have? We gotta wrap it up after this. What if you just lose him for nothing? You don't get the guy or any pieces that help you maybe lure a guy or get anything in the long term.
You're hamstringing yourself in contracts, though. Remember,
Jordan Clarkson's contract.
Jordan's fine, but Steven Adams has a max contract. Russ has a max contract.
Okay, maybe do that.
Yeah. Do you want to pay Randle a max contract on top of that? Or near a max?
Who knows? Depends on what kind of step you see him taking for you. And nobody would have said that about Victor Oladipo. He took a next step this year.
I mean, that's why I said Victor works out. But I mean, in many cases, it doesn't.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna transition to the last hot segment of the day, where we're gonna do our speed round. We're gonna have as many topics as fast as possible, and we're gonna try and include everything that's going on, including Oklahoma falling to Georgia, and now Georgia advancing to go to the NCAA college football playoff.
Real-time updates from us.
Real-time updates, y'all.
Happened.
It did just happen. All right, y'all. Stay tuned for the speed rounds. KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day.